and welcome to Library Storytime. So glad you could join me today. Well, I hope you're enjoying summer and summer reading. Keep up the great work. Remember to read at least 20 minutes a day, and 30 hours are what the requirements are. And so when you do your 30 hours, you can bring that into the library to get your prizes. But just have fun reading and listening, because you don't have to read books. You can also listen. And those little ones that are not reading yet, they can certainly listen to 30 hours. So whatever works for you, you can even include these stories. So thank you for joining me. Today's theme is food, and I selected that because one of my favorite folk and fairy tales is Stone Soup, and our theme this year for summer reading is tales such as animal tales and tales such as fairy tales or folk tales. And Stone Soup is a European folk tale. It's been told in various versions, and this one is retold by Heather Forest. And this is the Stone Soup variants that I like. So we're going to do that. But what will be our craft for food? Well, we're going to make a taco, but it's going to be a paper taco, although it makes you hungry thinking about it. And so here's our taco. What you will have is some green lettuce to build your taco. You'll have a paper plate that you'll want to color, or you could paint it, whatever you want to do. You'll have some tissue paper. I have brown for beans. I like bean tacos, but you can use it for meat, yellow for cheese, lots of red for tomatoes. Do you like to put tomatoes on your taco, or salsa, tomato salsa? So then you can make your own taco. And just looking at it makes me very hungry for tacos. So that will be our craft. You can come pick that up at the library and make your own taco. So let's begin with Stone Soup. And I have a few props that will help us. And Stone Soup is a European folktale told by various people. We have books, Stone Soup, written by various people, but it's all the same idea of soup made from a stone. Well, would you like some soup made from a stone? Let's find out what that's about. Stone Soup, and this is retold by Heather Forest. There was once a comfortable little village nestled in the mountains. The people who lived there had more than enough to keep themselves content. One day, two travelers came along. Their coats were tattered. Their hats were torn. Their dusty shoes had holes in the soles. Hungry and tired, one traveler said to the other, "Surely someone here can spare a bit of food for hungry travelers." They knocked boldly on a door. It creaked open, and a woman asked, "What do you want?" "Please," said one of the travelers, "we are hungry. Do you care? Will you share? Do you have any food?" The woman squinted her eyes and tartly replied, "No," and she quickly slammed the door. The travelers walked a little farther down the road and knocked on another door. A young boy answered. "Good day," he said shyly. "What do you want?" "Please," said one of the travelers, "we are hungry. Do you care? Will you share? Do you have any food?" The boy replied, "There is no food here," and closed the door. The travelers wandered wearily through the village, knocking on every door. But every time they heard, "There's no food here." And the travelers said, "Do they care?" And they sat on to rest beside a well. Do they care? Will they share? The travelers sighed and clutched their empty bellies. One traveler said, "If there's really no food in this elegant little village, then the people who live here are in greater need than we are. We should make soup for them. We should make our magical soup. If they don't have any food, we should make that." And so the two travelers climbed up on the edge of the well and shouted, "We are master cooks. If anyone in this town has a big black pot, we will make the most delicious soup anyone has ever tasted." A door slowly opened. A man emerged carrying a gigantic black pot. "I love to eat," he said. "Here's a pot. Let me see what two master cooks can do with it." "Watch and see," said the travelers with glee. So the travelers filled the pot with water, built a fire, and lit the fire, and soon the flames were licking the sides of the pot, and billows of steam rose because the water was boiling hot. Curious people began to gather. "What is happening?" the townspeople asked. And the two travelers said, "We are making an unusual soup. It requires a special magical ingredient, and I'm certain that we will find it in this town. It requires a magical ingredient." All eyes were on the two travelers when one of the travelers reached down and picked up a stone. He tossed that stone into the boiling water and said, "We're making stone soup. It will be nutritious, delicious, incredible, and edible. But it would taste better," he paused and sighed, "if only we had a carrot. That would enhance the flavor if we had a carrot." "But where would we find a carrot in this town?" the other traveler asked. "We've knocked on every door, and everywhere we've heard, 'I don't care, I won't share, there is no food.'" "Oh," said the other traveler, "then perhaps we can't make our magical soup." As they turned to leave, a child shouted, "Wait, I have a little carrot." And the traveler said, "Oh, that's great. Bring what you've got. Put it in the pot. We're making stone soup." And so the young child ran home and brought there's our carrot, brought a carrot. The traveler said, "That's great. Bring what you've got. Put it in the pot. We're making stone soup." "Oh, excellent! This magical soup would taste better even if we had a potato." And so one of the townspeople shouted, "I have a potato." And the traveler said, "Well, bring what you got. Put it in the pot. We're making stone soup." And so the villager ran to his house and got a potato and put it in the pot. Soon a Wonderful aroma filled the village, and the villagers ran to get one thing after another. Someone brought, do you know what that is? An onion. Oh, that'll really help the flavor. And the traveler said, bring what you got. Put it in the pot. We're making stone soup. Someone brought, do you know what this is? Pepper. Oh, that'll taste very good. Bring what you got. Put it in the pot. We're making stone soup. Oh, I bet you love this. What's this? Celery. The traveler said, bring what you got. Put it in the pot. We're making stone soup. And what do you think that is? Tomato. Oh, that's going to make that soup so delicious. The traveler said, bring what you got. Put it in the pot. We're making stone soup. Everyone in the town ran home and brought something to put in the soup. Soon the huge pot was full and simmering. A wonderful smell drifted through the air. The smell was so tempting. People brought out bowls, spoons, chairs, and tables. They placed hearty loaves of bread, chunks of cheese, and bowls of fruit on the tablecloths. Everyone came to taste the soup and marveled at the flavor. It's amazing, said one woman. These two travelers made such a delicious soup out of a stone, said one of the village people. Out of a stone? Is that soup out of a stone? Well, there was a stone in there. Out of a stone, said the travelers with a grin, and a magical ingredient. Remember, they said they would make soup, but they needed a magical ingredient. And what could that magical ingredient be? You're right, sharing. Sharing is the magical ingredient. As the travelers left the town, they said, if anyone wants the recipe for this delicious soup, remember, here it is. Remember, here's the recipe. Bring what you got. Put it in the pot. Every bit counts, from the largest to the least. Together we can celebrate a stone soup feast. And so the travelers went on their way. See, even the cat and the dog like it. That's delicious soup because it is made with love, because everyone shared a little or a lot, whatever you have. Share and bring what you got. Put it in the pot. We're making stone soup. And in this book, there's a recipe, but you really don't need a recipe. All you need is friends to share, vegetables. Let's look at our vegetables. We have celery. That's so delicious. Potatoes. Potato soup is great. Tomato. Onion. That always enhances the flavor. A green pepper and a carrot. And what's our last ingredient? A stone. Well, you don't have to put a stone in your soup, but it wasn't really the stone that made the delicious soup. It was all the love that went into the sharing. So that is a European folktale, stone soup. Very good. You can put that down for your summer reading. Now we're talking about food, so let's sing this little song. It's to the tune of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Carrots, peas, and broccoli, vegetables are good for me. For my snack and in my lunch, veggie sticks are great to munch. Carrots, peas, and broccoli, Vegetables are good for me and you. Vegetables are so good. This was vegetable soup. Carrots, peas, and broccoli. Vegetables are good for me. For my snack and in my lunch, veggie sticks are great to munch. Carrots, peas, and broccoli. Vegetables are good for me and you. So eat lots of yummy vegetables. Very, very good. Fruit is good as well. Let's get our tree ready. Here we are, way up high in the apple tree. 2 little apples smiled at me. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came the apples. They were good. I like a good apple. Way up high in the apple tree, 2 little apples smiled at me. So here's your little apples. I shook that tree as hard as I could. Down came the apples. They were good. Very, very good. Our last story today is called Badger's Fancy Meal. And you'll see a taco in this book because we're making yummy paper tacos because I think everybody loves tacos. And it's Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Seems like a good thing to have tacos on Tuesday. Badger's Fancy Meal by Kaiko Kaza. And Badger is tired of his ordinary meal. He's tired of his apples and worms, and here's a turnip. Badger's wishing that he had a fancy meal. So let's join Badger. Here's Badger in his den, so take a good look. Badger's Fancy Meal. Badger's den was full of food, but he was not happy. Apples, worms, and roots, same old, same old. Ah, he sighed. I wish I could have a fancy meal for a change. Oh, a fancy meal. Let's see what he thinks is a fancy meal. So Badger crawled out of his den and eagerly set out to find his fancy meal. So there he's crawling out of his den. Soon Badger spotted a mole walking by. He thought, how about a mole taco with hot spicy sauce? Oh my, would you want a mole taco? See, he's imagining a taco with a mole in it and hot spicy sauce. Ooh, said Badger, now that's what I call a fancy meal. He jumped for the mole, but it was too slippery. It slipped and slid right out of Badger's hands. Then it scampered away as fast as it could and found a perfect place to hide. Look closely. Does that den look familiar? Yes, that's Badger's den. And there goes Mole. Badger was disappointed, but not for long, because soon he spotted a rat walking by. He thought, how about a rat burger smothered in cheese sauce? Ooh, a rat burger smothered in cheese sauce. Now, that's what I call a fancy meal, said Badger. And as we look at the book, there's several things going on in this book, so always be watching. There goes Mole into the hole. Here's rat. He jumped for the rat, but it was too wiggly. It wiggled and jiggled right out of Badger's hands. Then it scampered away as fast as it could. So there goes the rat. Look who's landed in Badger's den. It's Mole. And now Rat is jumping into the perfect place to hide, which is Badger's den. Badger was disappointed again, but not for very long, because soon he spotted a rabbit walking by. He thought, now how about a rabbit banana split covered with hot fudge? Oh, now that's what I call a very fancy meal. So he's imagining rabbit banana split with hot fudge. But meanwhile, look what's happening. There goes Rat. And now, plunk, he's landed in Badger's den. There's Mole. But Badger leaped for the rabbit and he jumped for the rabbit, but the rabbit was too quick. It hippity-hopped right out of Badger's hands and it bounced away as fast as it could and found a perfect place to hide. I bet you know where that is. That looks familiar. Why, that's Badger's den. Poor Badger, he had lost 3 meals in a row. 3. A mole taco, a rat burger, and a rabbit banana split. He screamed, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. Have you ever said that when you're hungry? I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. But look who's there. No, really, said a loud voice. Badger couldn't believe his bad luck, for there glaring down at him was a big, mean-looking horse. You eat me, sneered the horse. I don't think so. And meanwhile, look what's happening down here. Why, the rabbit, the rat, the mole, they're enjoying Badger's ordinary food. Ordinary to Badger, but they think it's pretty good. And the horse says, you eat me, I don't think so. And also the horse said, stop badgering me. The horse kicked Badger way up into the air. And down here in the den, as we join the friends down in the den, they're writing a note. Looks like they have eaten up all the food and are quite full. But the horse sent Badger flying, 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 flying through the air. Here's the 3 friends. Look, they're coming out of the den just as kerplunk, Badger fell back into his own den. He landed right back where he had started, in his own den. Oh, thank goodness I made it home, exclaimed Badger. Who needs a fancy meal anyway? I have plenty of good food right here. Or does he? Look at the 3 friends. But Badger was wrong. His food was all gone. Instead, all he found was a short note which said, Dear whoever lives here, sorry for dropping by uninvited. A nasty badger was chasing us and we had nowhere else to hide. The apples, worms, and roots were delicious. Thanks for the fancy meal. And we end with burp, burp, burp. All the 3 friends are full and burping. And that's Badger's fancy meal. They thought Badger's food was really fancy. And I think your tacos will be really fancy too. Your paper tacos will be very fancy. Well, thank you for joining me today for Library Storytime. Remember to keep up your great work of summer reading. 30 hours. You can even count these because you can listen as well as read. So thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.